What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 30 of our Millwall career, and today we have West Ham, and that is going to be the only game because we are going to afterward talk about a variety of different things pertaining to the team and how everything is going and all that nonsense. But as you can see, after 18 games, we're 10th on 27 points. We're 16 points ahead of Leicester in 18th, and I am going to just say it, we're safe. I think. Probably only need another 9-ish points over the last 20 games of the season. I'm just going to say it. So we can go ahead and cue the huge decline that is inevitably going to come after I say this. But yeah, we are in a really, really good spot. We are 2 points off of Man City, 6 points off of 6th place, and we are having a heck of a year. Since last time out, we played Leicester, and then we played Wolves-Tottenham. That was the last episode, and then we've had a couple games since. We had a 6-2 win over Watford here. 2 goals from corners to take a 2-1 lead for Watford, and then we just went ballistic. Noel with a hat trick, going a little bit crazy, that man right there. And then we went ahead and had a 6-1 loss to Liverpool, so we followed it up with an exact... or almost an exact turn on the score. Noel with another goal there. And then a 4-0 demolition of Stoke as well. Here, Manning, Dowell, and Noel with 2 more. As you can see, he has been a key feature recently. He's been scoring tons of goals. And then, as you can see here, a 3-0 win over Manchester City away from home. What else can you say? We had 8 shots all game. 3 of them went in, 2 of them on corners. We're going to show you Jonathan Ammon's goal here that kicked it off, and then we scored from a corner just after the fact. But yeah, they could not get by Plazzari. Ammon here has it clipped back out, and Durham, good ball out there, and that's poor goalkeeping on the near post. But the next 2 came from corners from Jake Cooper. And yeah, a 3-0 win away to Man City. We ran with the regular formation. We just went on defensive. That's the first time all year I've gone defensive, and it seemed to work a treat, as you can see. As you can see, though, all 3 goals from corners. And City had a ton of the play, obviously. Just could not get by Plazzari. And yeah, so a variety of good things happening here. Plazzari in net, playing really, really well. Starting to grow also. Only 21 years of age for a goalkeeper means he has plenty of time to grow. We're hoping to get some of these into that green category here, and then some of this passing sort of stuff up a little bit. I'd like him to spread the ball out a little bit better and a little bit more, but we'll see on that. Jake Cooper as well, now the highest rated player on our team star-wise, and while stars kind of have, you know, different issues depending on different things, he's still got some pretty good attributes and really good attributes for goal scoring on corners. 16 heading, 16 strength, 20 jumping reach, and a 6'7" height. I mean, he is a corner machine, and at the moment, as you can see, 4 goals and 15 appearances from center back is pretty good, but he's coming along really, really well. And then Noel here, really starting to score goals now. So, you know, hopefully he can grow a little bit more. It says he's probably not going to grow too much, but he can. I think he can grow a little bit more, and if he does grow a little bit more, he may be at the team for a little bit, but he's really starting to play particularly well. So we're going to jump into this game here. West Ham, of course, the derby, the big derby. For Millwall, for West Ham, this is the derby. I believe everybody's fit and ready to go. We're going to roll with this team. Actually, I kind of want to play Romeo instead of Todorovic. After the game, we're going to talk about a couple of things financially, and then we're going to talk about some transfer options, perhaps, or what we're going to do transfer-wise going forward and all that sort of stuff. We're just going to have the one game today. I thought about having the 2 games with the Sheffield United game, but with the Sheffield United game being in 2 days, huge rotation, I didn't really want to. I didn't want to go through that. I kind of obviously like playing with the first team, but those weeks where you have no time in between games, you know, they're not the greatest. A lot of 0-0 kind of things tend to happen. Both teams rotated, heavy-legged. Those second games don't normally end up being the most entertaining. So, you know, we'll just go with the one, and we'll talk about the team a little bit more, because in these types of episodes, we don't really talk about how the team is and how the finances are doing and stuff like that. We mostly kind of play the games and move forward. That's kind of why I want to turn this into a live series. Well, I don't want to turn it into a live series. When I get a computer that can do a couple of things at once, as no goals close, when I can get a computer that can run this game and record it at the same time without there being huge bugs or running really, really slowly, then I will be doing live stuff on my channel, and it'll be a little bit more in depth on how everything goes instead of just the games. And hopefully you guys will stick around for that. But for now, we move forward. Here we have a throw in. Manning on it. Gets it to Bakuna. Back to Manning. And Durham at the top of the box, all alone here. Thought he might go for goal. He didn't. Romeo's on it now. Did he go for goal? There comes the Wallace Dowling. That's a couple of block shots in there, and they don't amount to much of anything. The West Ham are coming forward here. Is there an opportunity, or is this just the ending? Yes, it is the ending. But at the moment, holding on to the ball a little bit better, moving the ball around a little bit better, putting more shots toward the net. West Ham just the one shot in the first half hour, but we need to find the goal. When we dominate like this, we got to start finding the goal a little bit sooner, as Jed Wallace comes through here, and he goes for goal. What a finish. Jed Wallace with his 8th of the season. We are playing proper good football recently. We haven't changed the tactic or anything. The tactic's just been slowly getting better as everybody gets better, and we tweak it here and there. And it's starting to really turn into something, as we're starting to get some really good results all around. Jed Wallace with another goal. Everybody on the team is playing pretty well at the moment, and we move up to 7th with that. And while, you know, we're the first game of the weekend, it's pretty cool to be moving up to 7th in our 2nd year in the Premier League. Really moving along. But West Ham are on it here, and Ajeti does well to turn back. We thought we'd won it there, not quite. Comes to the fullback. So Voss. Voss is a proper good, well-rounded player in this game, though a little bit older. Cardoso, can we nick it off him here? Not quite. We'll chase down the goalkeeper, and it's put out wide. Is that Kwadwo Asamoah? There's some good players on this West Ham team for them to be all the way down in 16th, as Felipe Anderson forces a save from Plazzari, who's been playing pretty well. A couple man-of-the-match performances from Plazzari as of late. He's a proper good goalkeeper. I just want him to improve in a couple of other areas. And then we'll really have a heck of a goalkeeper on our hands. Now Jed Wallace is standing over a free kick. He goes for goal, forces a save, and it is cleared away. It's a really good save right into that corner. We don't need to see that. We can barely see it as is. But not playing badly at all as we approach the halftime mark. And there's going to be another opportunity for someone. Romeo on it, and he clips it to the other side. Gets headed out to Durham. And Durham's been a good signing. He's a rock back there. Really like him back there. Manning. Down to Ammon. Let's not lose it in a bad spot. Dowell does well to get it to Knoll. Here's Wallace, and he cuts, and he goes for a goal. And Casteels with an easy enough save. And we get to halftime with the lead. We're playing all right. I'm going to say I'm not happy. There are a couple things there I'd like to be a little bit better at. Create a couple of better opportunities. A really good finish from Wallace gives up the lead, but we're not creating like proper good opportunities. And maybe we'll create some more in the second half as West Ham inevitably open up, or I feel they'll open up. We shall see. Felipe Anderson's been injured as well, which is good news for us. A slight injury, and then he went off the pitch injured. But at the moment, doing all right. We're going to get Knoll out of there, as he's been playing so well lately, and it's only fair that this happens when you guys are watching. Corner set to come in for West Ham, though. As that gets clipped in, and that's in the back of the net. Kelvin, his first goal of the season. That is so annoying because we've been so good We've been better than them, I feel. And they score on a corner to level it up. That's why you got to really take control when you're on top, because you get in these situations here where, you know, we've been doing really well, and now just like that, off a set piece, we're even. Not what you want to see. What's going on here? He's been booked. Cardozo. So free kick set to come in. Can we hit back on a set piece? Jed Wallace standing over it. He goes for goal, and Castiles with a good save here. Corner set to come in. Can we get Cooper's head to it? Not quite. Is D up? Pushes it away. Jed Wallace. And Jed Wallace has it nicked off him, and that's the end of the highlight. I'm going to say get a little bit creative. Do a little bit more here. What do I want to change? I don't even know if I want to change anything. I know we're not winning or anything, but we're not playing badly, and it's... I don't want to get too aggressive. Definitely don't want to lose this game. And that goal from the corner has really let West Ham sit in here. We'll get Aminoff and bring Grosicki on, but that's about as much as we're going to do. And it is going to end here like that, unless they score here. Voss on it, Kelvin. A game we were better in, but we didn't create any proper chances. A lot of shots, but no proper really good chances. And that's what happens. And you can see it from a set piece, and this is where you get left in limbo, as this is going to end 1-1 seemingly. Gets clipped out, Voss on it, and there's the whistle. Not what we wanted in the end. I'm going to say we're not good enough. We weren't going forward. We didn't create enough. But, you know, that's the way it goes sometimes. 34 to 45. What's he on now? 27. I mean, it's probably a little bit fair that we... Can I get him as a regular starter? Important. That's fair enough. I always like to go one down just in case we can get him there, and then he's a little bit happy should things change. 36.5 is not awful for someone as important as Jed Wallace. I'm not overly concerned about that, but let's take a look around where we need to go. So, in the 5 days ago, between the game we just played and the game and the Manchester City game, we asked the board for a little bit of money. I looked at Curtis Jones for a bit, and we didn't have a ton of money, but Curtis Jones was incredibly cheap, $2 million maybe. I asked the board to sign him because we didn't actually have any money. I asked the board to sign him. They said no. And then I asked for an increased transfer budget, and they gave me £21 million to spend in January. Now, because of how the league is going, and I don't expect to finish in the top 7, we'd have to have we've had an incredible start to the year. We'd have to have an equally incredible second half to the year to finish with a fighting chance at Europa League. I don't particularly think that's going to happen. We sit here in 10th, and as you can see, 8 points back. I don't think we're going to have an incredible portion of the year. It'd be pretty impressive if we finished on 56 points, but I wouldn't bet on it or anything like that. So what I'm thinking is that we go to this development center and just take a look around for just a moment. This is Tuazi. He's out on loan, and that's it. Our youth academy it's not great. These two lads right here perhaps can grow into something, but we are pretty thin in the youth academy. Tuazi, he's starting to grow now, which is good. He's at Cadiz, and unfortunately at Cadiz it's just, I mean, you can't really do too much. They're 14th. not having the greatest of years, only 3 points out to get the relegation zone. So it's difficult to go to a lot of these places and play really, really well, and that's hindered him just a little bit, but he's still got the potential to grow. I'm thinking we spend this £21 million on a proper set of young kids, a couple of them. We've been doing a lot of scouting all over the world, trying to do some younger, or scouting of some younger players and things from a variety of different nations, trying to figure out if we can get to a point where we can sign a couple without breaking the budget and without offering them, first team star player type of thing. So that's what happens with a lot of players that come from other places. A team like Tottenham can go into Brazil and find, or Tottenham, Liverpool, any of the top 6 can go into Brazil, find a really good young player who could start for someone like us, and then bring him in as a hot prospect, and then we got to bring him in as a star. And we don't get to, obviously he's playing and things like that, but we don't get the chance to develop a lot of incredibly good players, because a lot at the moment in time, our squad is at this point where a lot of incredibly good players would come in and start, and we'd have to give them that in the contract, a ton of money. It's just how it is. I mean, I'm running a Colchester save right now with a buddy of mine, and 3rd or 4th year in the Premier League with Colchester, and you bring in a really good Brazilian and he wants £70,000 a week, and he wants starter stuff, and then that's yours. And then they go to a team like Tottenham or a team like Liverpool or Manchester City, and they take £17,000 a week, and they're willing to sit in the academy and stuff like that. So we're not at a point yet where we can come in and groom incredible players. So it's going to be a little bit different on how I go about this in terms of regens. We'll just go to player search and just look around for a little bit. When you bring regens in, it's difficult. It's difficult to get a regen maybe like this, just as a first, for the sake of it. We're not gonna sign him or anything just yet, but for the sake of it, he would come in and want £40,000 a week and want to start all the time. So it's difficult at a team. Like, if someone were to sign a player like this, he'd come in for £12,000 and sit in the academy for 2 years, go out on loan for a year, come back, and if he's ready, then he's ready, So what we're going to try and do is, at minimum, bring in, I think, a load of youngsters to go ahead and try and flip at minimum. There are going to be players we're going to try and bring in that hopefully can do a part and grow into a proper good player, and maybe if 1 or 2 that could, be a part of the first team. But for the moment, we're kind of just living on this. Our reputation isn't great. Our team isn't brilliant, so a lot of the really good players who are young, who want to play, they're going to come in and want to start. And, obviously, there are a lot of issues with that. If we take a look at the club finances, we have a £14 million balance, and obviously it grows a little bit. It's growing a little bit slower than I would have liked for where we are at the moment in the Premier League. There are a variety of different things you can look at here. Salary, a couple of these players, would you look to, find some and move them on? Darlow's on £27,000 a week. He's now the backup. Do we look to move him on? Ferguson, we're thinking about replacing that position anyway. Do we move Ferguson on at £23,000 a week? It's tough. It's a lot of maneuverability, and you're going to need to be able to maneuver around contracts and things like that, and hopefully we can, do a lot of that. In January, I'm not thinking that way. In January, I'm thinking, can we get some young kids in? Do we have a backup plan? Do we have, if we're eventually going to need to get into Europe, do we have enough players, that could come through right now and, play and be a part of the squad? Because we're going to need homegrown at club, homegrown in the country and things like that. And while we do have a couple, of course, we'd like to have that security just in case other things happen. What happens when huge bids comes in? He was a 4.5 star player the other day. Like right at the beginning of this episode, he was 4.5 stars, and now he's 4. Wild stuff. But what happens when a massive bid comes in? Do we have a backup plan if we can't bring in a replacement? It's a lot, but this here has to change. This in particular has to change. There aren't too many great players here. Some of these players that are just sucking up wages. But Vardson, as you can see, 10K a week. He leaves in the summer, which is good. This lad here, we're going to look to flip perhaps. So we'll see. You know, there are a variety of different things. We only bought him in for 100,000 pounds. Tuazi, we didn't pay a ton of money for him, 160K. You know, do we look at it and, you know, find him another loan? There are a lot of things here he still has to work on. Do we, you know, look to flip? I mean, there's a lot going through here. Obita, another player, 9.5K a week, still going to be here another year. We're looking to move him on. He doesn't want to move on. It's difficult. Ryan Sanford here. It's just wages. I mean, this player's going nowhere. It's just wages that are sitting around. So hopefully we can really take a look at that. But as you can see, Club Vision's really good. At a B+. We were at an A- before the West Ham game. Fair enough to go down, but you know, we're moving in the right direction. Everything is really, really good. We were just supposed to fight bravely against relegation. We're way past that. 3rd round, passed it. 4th round of the FA Cup, we'll see how that goes. And everything is just continue remaining in the Premier League. So we're going to look to see if we can get that contract renewed sooner rather than later. But, you know, we're doing all right. All over the place. Sign players under 23 for the first team, but we're also looking to sign players under 23 for, you know, the under 23 team. Obviously, it's a lot. It's a lot to do, and I think we're going to spend January doing it, and the 20 million obviously helps. We're going to look to see if we can move money as best we can, because we're not making, as I said, in the Premier League, our 2nd year, this isn't enough growth month to month. Money-wise, it just isn't. It's got to be a little bit better. Got to get on TV more, obviously, but it's a lot of things to do, so we'll see. But I'm gonna end this, guys, here. I hope you've enjoyed. I know it's not normally like the 2-game kind of episode thing, but you know, we had a lot to talk about today, a lot to look at, a lot to see in terms of what we do. So I'm gonna do a lot of looking between now and the end of January, which is, I think, when we'll be back. And hopefully we can find ourselves some proper good players to bring into the club, or some really good young players who will hopefully turn into something good at the club as well. Next episode, as I said, we'll get to the end of January, so we'll probably play the Villa game or the Chelsea game. One of those two, and we'll talk about any players we bought in and things like that. And we'll go from there, guys. But for now, that is it. I hope you folks have enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more. And peace.